Hello, welcome back. Art of Cycling, and I'm Greg Leach, and this is the Tour de France. So after yesterday's time trial, today was a lumpy road stage, and looking like a great day for the breakaway. In fact, I think this is the largest gap that any break has built up at this point. So I think we're 30 kilometers yet to race, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in there. And the break is built up almost 4 minutes. And I'm pretty sure that is the best advantage yet, because many things have been decided. And today, the very first climb dropped all the sprinters, except for one more puncher, but has sprint to victory, and I think a second and a third thus far. Matthew Van Der Poel is in this group. Right now he is the virtual Maillot Jaune, yellow jersey. Virtual because it's not decided until he is back, till they finish the stage. But it seems very unlikely that Pogacar is going to close the 2.5 minutes it would be required to keep himself in the yellow jersey, and I'm not altogether sure. I mean, normal, traditional Tour behavior would be that he would want to give it away, but Tade is a pretty aggressive racer, and so therefore not one who's going to necessarily do what's expected and intentionally give away the jersey. Last year, I believe he took the jersey in stage 4 and kept it all the way to Paris. Well, actually, they didn't go to Paris last year. They went to Nice. Just so common to always think, because I believe it's 50 years, give or take a year, that the Tour has finished in Paris. So taking it to Paris has just become part of the lexicon. And but this year, they are going back to Paris with a slightly different stage too, which should be exciting. We'll see how it plays out, but they're going to use some of the Tour de France Parisian race course going up over Montmartre, one of my favorite areas of France, or Paris rather. When I was in Paris the time before last, up on Montmartre, there's, it was the, sorry, I'm trying to tell a story and think what I need to do here at the same time. It's where all the artists make tourist art, painting the scenes of Paris, just as I did doing watercolors. I can't paint and talk at the same time. In fact, that's where I started painting the watercolors. That was my wife Bridget's brilliant idea, was to paint the tour or paint watercolors to pay for our trips abroad. And with that came the idea to do this. Certainly the media and the scale and all came from that idea. But so we were up on Montmartre and we got talking with one of the guys, and Bridget revealed that I was an artist, and he actually looked at my stuff, and then the compliment was he took this American painter back to the actually they go up this same road, and there's a little community of studios through a gate, and took us back there and showed us his real work, not his stuff he was creating. They were perfectly lovely little tourist paintings or paintings for tourists, but his real stuff was brilliant. I was so honored that he let us see. It's been my experience when traveling in France. I speak not good French, what I call tourist French, but enough to at least politely start a conversation, and then I oftentimes ask if they speak English, and because I've started in French, I usually get a concession, and then I keep speaking French, and that usually gets at the very least a very positive reaction. So again, using conversion lines. So this piece is like a single perspective to try to create, and I'm doing, this is more just the idea, the railroad tracks diminishing into space, that kind of an image. And so that's sort of the force, and then it sort of implies, he's got a lone road in front of him, the only vehicle that we can see. Well, there's the photographer's motorcycle here, a press photographer, and then the one of the commissaires out front. There's always one vehicle out ahead of the race, just sort of making sure that the roads have been successfully cleared, keeping an eye on things, just generally running interference, as it were. Now this is Ben Healy, one of the EF education writers, and these stripes right here on his sleeve indicate he is a former national champion, and in this case he's the former Irish champion. This breakaway is kind of fun in that now he has dropped his breakaway companions, but the breakaway had 2 Irishmen and 2 guys from the USA in it. And then I think it was Dutch and Colombian. Not a Frenchman in sight, although 1 or 2 tried. That was the thing about today. It was very difficult to get into the break. Now, Ben has gone off on his own here. It's just, oops, that's not the color I wanted. So I'm starting to build my black, and somehow I picked up that teal blue. because I missed the green by one little pod. Still need a touch more green. There we go. But with Matthew Vanderpool, the Dutchman, and former wearer of the yellow jersey, in that group, they all knew they got virtually no chance of out-sprinting him, of taking the stage in any way, unless they get away from him. The easiest way to do that is go early. And then for the guys behind, first off, they're thrilled Ben did this, because now they can force Matthew to chase, and it's a little bit of a risk because they're not going to chase Ben down. So if Matthew can't catch him, and they're not going to help catch him, they just let their chance to win the stage go. You know, there's an expression that in order to win the tour or win the stage, you've got to be willing to lose it. That's kind of what they're doing right now. They're gambling their potential stage win. And Ben's the same way. He's running a big gamble because if he doesn't succeed, he's going to be exhausted. And then we'll probably have thrown his chance to win the stage away. So sort of now, and I've been jumping around with my color. I'm not doing what I say you have to do. Here, now that says I have that blue. Make this guy have a blue shirt on. It's actually, he's wearing all gray, and that's not very interesting. So I don't know what this cement patch is. I've seen a few of them. It may be, in fact, a little cement speed bump. But it's nice to break up the line anyway, so we'll definitely put it in. These thumbtacks that hold the artwork down, I started doing that when I was painting after having had shoulder surgery, and I couldn't use my left hand and hold the paper down, and now I find it advantageous, except when it's in the way of painting the edge of the paper. So you can see how I squeezed it out of the way, and now I can slide it back in there because that's painted. So we're just about done here. We just have to do the roadway surface. I think I will. It's nice the sun is back out, because it also gives me, not only is it more comfortable and safer for the riders, although certainly not as cool, it also gives shadows. It's just another element to add into the painting. So, of course, all of this work, this painting included, will be on my blog, theartofcycling.blogspot.com. When you're there, you'll find a link for this and all the work I've done. That'll take you to my website, theartofcycling.blogspot. No, that's the blog. My website is gregleach.com, and yes, I spell it unusually. Thank you, Mom and Dad. They came up with that long before the internet and wanting a searchable name. But although my father did work on some of the original computers, but yeah, so a searchable name is great. But so it's Greiglach. Thanks for the I. And love to know what you think. Shoot, I never remember the name. But for those of you who are commenting and enjoying the conversations we're having about both painting and the race, so I'd love to know what you think and have you join in into the conversation. And I do one of these per day. I usually do about 7 paintings per day, but one YouTube video. So, joining the conversation, as it were. And thank you so much. And obviously, if you're not subscribing yet, I'd love it if you would do so. So, thanks for watching.